Hey guys, and welcome back. Be sure to check out all of our picks for today over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description. Heading into this one, going to be talking about this highly anticipated matchup here between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the San Antonio Spurs, and give our lean on who we feel has the better edge against the spread. Cleveland coming to this one today as about a 1.5 underdogs. On the year, the Cavaliers, they haven't been all that great on the road. They're 27-18 overall, but just 11-12 on the road, so below 500 when they're away from their home arena. In comparison to the Spurs, who have a similar overall record at about 30-18 overall, but San Antonio, they have been very tough to beat at home. The Spurs, they are 19-3 on their home court this season. Of course, in their last outing, the Spurs just did not look themselves. They fell at home to the Indiana Pacers by a final of 86-94 in a matchup where nothing was really working for the Spurs on the offensive end, and it was a really low-scoring game against an Indiana team that typically plays more up-tempo, so the Spurs were even able to get things into their pace of play, and they still had a tough time. Maybe they were looking ahead on the schedule potentially to this matchup against the Cavaliers, which would be a surprise for a veteran team like the Spurs. They usually take every game as it comes, but perhaps with the fact that Cleveland is coming into town, maybe they wanted to ratchet things up a little bit more for that particular matchup. On the year, the Spurs, they're 28th in the NBA in scoring, first in total team defense, a plus-minus of about positive 3 points. And the Spurs, they've just been doing things differently. They really slow things down in the half court. They utilize the strengths that they have with their size and length and really get these matchups into more almost playoff caliber type games. Typically in the postseason, you see these half court battles, lower scoring more often than not in comparison to the regular season, where typically things are free flowing a bit more up tempo. But the Spurs, they haven't been going with that type of play, and that's also not a surprise for a veteran team. They don't necessarily want to be running up and down the court every single night in these fast-paced games. Slow things down, save their legs as they work their way through the regular season, and they've been having success, especially with taking care of business on their home court. So the road team today, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they looked downright terrible in their last outing defensively at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They went on to lose that one in embarrassing fashion by 124 to 148. Giving up 148 points in regulation is just something that you don't see all that often in the NBA. You really have to be trying to not necessarily stop your opponent on defense or slow things down a bit and regather yourself to give up that amount of points. It'll just be very interesting to see how Cleveland bounces back today as they head out on the road against a very tough veteran opponent. Cleveland, they go things about in a very different way in comparison to the Spurs. They're 5th in the NBA in scoring, 26th in total team defense, and even though the Cavaliers are 9 games above 500, their plus-minus is about even on the year, so that just means that when this team loses, they lose by large margins, and when they win, it's not necessarily by those same amount of numbers. So if you just take what these two teams average throughout the year, you have San Antonio, who's about 3 or so points better than what Cleveland has been on average. And then you also factor in the home court advantage, which is about a 3-point boost to that as well. You would typically see Vegas giving the Spurs probably about a 5 to 6 point edge coming into this matchup. You also have to take in consideration the fact that Kawhi Leonard is out, so that moves things back a little bit. But even with that being the case, we feel like the Spurs are going to come out, give a good effort, and we're going to lean on their veteran experience to be a difference maker today, as well as their defense as they go on to win and cover this spread at home. If you agree with this pick, give the video a thumbs up. You disagree, give it a thumbs down. Check out all of our picks for today's action over at stumpthespread.com, linked down in the video description, and be sure to click that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping on in, and we hope to see you guys in future videos. Bye.